Secretary.
Yes.
Who are we waiting for, June?
We're going live na po, ma'am, on Facebook. Delayed lang po yung sa monitor natin. Alright, magandang umaga po sa ating mga taga-subaybay at magandang umaga rin po sa ating mga media partners, sa ating mga guro, mga magulang at mga mag-aaral na nakaantabay ngayon sa DepEd Philippines at sa iba't ibang media channels po natin sa buong bansa. Unang-una po sa lahat, I would like to acknowledge po ang presence po ng ating kalihim, Secretary Leonor Magtolis Briones. At kasama po niya ang mga undersecretaries po, ang ating mga spokesperson, Yusek Nepo Malaluan, Yusek Ann Sevilla, Yusek Revsi Escobedo, and Yusek Dads San Antonio po. So magandang umaga po sa lahat. Gaya po ng nauna kanina, we were having some technical problems, but we are proceeding po with the press conference. And before we proceed po sa mga katanungan ng ating mga kaibigan sa media, I would like to ask po muna yung ating opening statement ng ina ng Kagawaran ng Edukasyon, Secretary Leonor Magtolis Briones. Ma'am?
Magandang umaga sa lahat. Welcome to this launch of our academic year, academic school year for 2021. And gusto lang naming uulitin. Number one, tuloy pa rin tayo sa August 24, formal school opening. Yun ang napagkasunduan, in-approve ng IATF, in-approve sa Department of Education at ng Presidente. So tuloy pa rin tayo sa August 24. Pero gusto lang nating i-emphasize na walang face-to-face. Ayan, resolved na issue na yan. Dahil hanggang ngayon, patuloy pa rin ang debate kung mag-face-to-face o hindi. Ilang beses na namin yan sinasabi na walang face-to-face session samantalang wala pa ang vaccine tulad ng sinabi ng Presidente o hindi pa totally under control ang COVID. Ang ating approach ay blended learning, yung sinasabi natin na iba't ibang paraan para mag-share at mag-transmit ng knowledge, iba't ibang mga strategy depende kung anong sitwasyon sa isang rehiyon o sa isang eskwelahan. Only last night I was in a interview as well, group interview, and ganun pa rin ang tanong, paano na yan? Alam naman natin na maraming may mga challenges pa na natitira sa online program. So ano ang alternative natin? Kaya inuulit ko ulit. Blended ang ating approach dito. Una, angkop na proteksyon ang ating gustong masisigurado. Protection for the learners, protection also for the teachers. Tapos pangalawa, ang gusto nating emphasize, patuloy ang edukasyon sa buong Southeast Asia, sa mga magkakapatid at neighboring countries. Tayo na lang at ang Cambodia ang hindi pa nagbukas ng eskwelahan. Ang Vietnam ay nagbukas last May. Sa June ang Singapore. Ngayon busy na sila sa kanilang paghahanda para sa National Assessment Examinations. Karamihan ng mga Southeast Asian countries, July ang umpisa nila. Kaya itong August 24 ay ang pinaka dulo na talaga ng what is legally allowed as opening of classes itong August 24. Kaya ipagpatuloy natin ito. Pwedeng ipagpatuloy maski anong mangyayari sa COVID dahil wala naman tayong face-to-face na mga sessions. blended learning ang ginagamit natin at lahat ng mga bansa din sa Southeast Asia. Lahat sila iba't ibang style, iba't ibang forms, iba't ibang combination, iba't ibang blending ng blended learning. At the rate that we are using the word blended, may isang opisyal nga tayo na nagbibiro na dahil malapit na ang eleksyon, magkaroon din daw tayo din ng blended elections sa pag-handle natin sa returns. Maraming dahilan kung bakit gusto nating ipagpatuloy ang edukasyon. Noon pa, may bagyo, may lindol, may baha, may mga trahedya, ay patuloy pa rin ang edukasyon dahil ang mga bata ay hindi natin pwedeng pagkaitan ng opportunity na sila ay makaangat sa buhay, sila ay handa para sa buhay ng adults pagkatapos ng kanilang pag-aaral. May mga pag-aaral na nagpapakita na kung sobra-sobrang haba ang panahon na walang klase, kasi tayo maximum natin 2 months na summer vacation, kung lalampas tayo tulad ng pinag-aaralan sa ibang bansa, kung lalampas tayo ng mga 2 buwan, ang laking pagkakalimot, malilimutan ng mga bata kung anong tinuturo sa kanila. Also, kung mag-delay tayo by 6 months, halos mag 6 months ang delay natin, pagsara ng school, ang ating children will be older also by 6 months. At saka iba na naman ang kanilang mga learning needs. Iba na naman ang kanilang socio-emotional status and expectations. So, madidihado talaga sila, maiiwan sila. May mga pag-aaral din na nagpapakita na magkaroon ng problems sa mga bata kung prolonged na sa bahay, kung prolonged na walang hindi nag-aaral, ay you have problems of obesity. May isa kagabing mother na nagsabi na ilang pounds ang nag-gain ng kanyang anak during the summer vacation. Aywan ko kung yung mother nag-gain din ba ng pounds o ang teachers nag-gain ba ng pounds, pero sabi niya ang kanilang anak ay nagkaroon ng situation of obesity kasi siyempre nasa bahay, walang ehersisyo at saka walang masyadong pinagkaabalahan sa pag-learning. Nakausap ko rin ang isang bata kahapon, 9 years old siya. Siya ay grade 4. Tinanong ko siya, ano ba, gusto mo bang pumunta sa school? Sabi niya, gustong-gusto niya talaga daw na mag-school. Maski sa bahay, pero yung feeling, yung paniniwala na nasa school siya. May ibang mga parents na very creative. Samantalang nasa sa bahay sila, nag-aaral sila, nagsusuot sila ng uniform, mayroon silang sulok na para sa kanila, nandoon yung lahat ng mga materials nila para ang feeling nila ay nasa klase pa rin sila at in touch sila sa kanilang mga classmates. Maraming challenges ang haharapin natin kung magpatuloy tayong mag-delay sa learning process ng ating mga bata. And itong debating ito, ang nagdedebate ang tayong mga matatanda, tayong mga policy makers, mga teachers, mga nasa pamahalaan, mga decision makers, general public, parents, pero tanungin natin ang mga bata kung talaga bang ayaw na nilang mag-go to school. Kadalasan yung mga bata na marunong sa internet, marunong sa magpadala ng messages online, sinusulatan ako, magsasabi secretary, pwede bang bumalik na tayo sa school? Miss ko na ang school, miss ko na ang teacher, miss ko na ang lessons. So, yun ang ating gustong mangyayari. Ayaw nating maiwanan ang ating mga bata, hindi lamang sa Asia, kundi maski sa ating bansa. Pangatlo, kailangang aksyonan kaagad kung mayroong mga challenges na lalabas. Kaya since April, mula nung ginawa natin yung ating learning continuity program, ay atin na itong ating simulate, no? Kasi yung nag-meet tayo, ang daming grupong na-meet na ang Department of Education, mga local government officials, mga parents, mga teachers, mga experts. Ang sabi nga nila, kailangan ipagpatuloy. Sila ang humihingi na pagpatuloy. At saka even yung face-to-face na limited, hinihingi din yan ng ibang local governments at saka ibang mga parents. So itong lahat nakikita natin dahil nagkaroon tayo ng napakaraming simulations. Kasi yun ang suggestion ng mga local government officials na i-simulate natin itong situation natin ng blended learning. At nakita natin na obra naman ang pinaka touching para sa akin sa ating mga simulations ay yung nangyari sa Isla Puting Bato sa Sarangani. Ito ay IP ang karamihang mga bata doon at ang gamit ay radyo. Kasi ang sabi natin, kung hindi pwede sa online, ay nandyan ang TV. Kung hindi pwede sa TV, nandyan ang radyo. Kung hindi pwede sa radyo, nandyan ang print materials. At all this, how many months since April, tuwing may challenge, tuwing may tanong ang media, tuwing may meme ang mga lumalabas sa iba't ibang forms ng social media, sinasagot natin ito, tinitingin natin ito na bilang challenge sa curriculum, sa paparaan ng pagturo, sa pag-upgrade ng ating National Educators Academy of the Philippines, paghahanda ng ating teachers, paghahanda ng ating facilities, and we are in constant dialogue with our various audiences, our various clientele, various groups that we are serving. Pero ang pinaka-importante mismo ang mga bata. At ang mga bata ay nagsasabi na gusto nilang mag-aral uli. As of now, 22.9 na mga bata, million kabata ang nagpapa-enroll na nagsasabi na handa silang pumasok by August 24. So, bigyan natin ito ng suporta, itong programang ito. Ipagpatuloy tayo, nakapag-aral na tayo sa press. Mga college graduate na tayo, professionals na tayo, may trabaho na tayo. Kailangan naman paghandain natin yung mga bata. Ayaw nating maiwanan sila ng panahon. Magkaroon tayo ng yung sinasabi noon, yung the decade of yung malaking-malaki ang utang natin, yung tinatawag na lost generation. Mawawala itong henerasyon na ito kung patuloy ang pag-delay natin sa pag-aaral ng ating mga anak, mga apo, mga pamangkin, at mga kapatid. Kaya we ask for your support. We are grateful for your balanced reporting. We are grateful to all of you for monitoring and reporting faithfully, truthfully, accurately, whatever is happening in the Department of Education vis-a-vis lies, vis-a-vis dishonest distortions of what are facts. Ulitin ko, ang pagbubukas ng eskwelahan ay August 24. Ito ay blended learning, walang face-to-face, at sa mga lugar na may risk assessment galing sa IATF, susundin natin yung kanilang mga patakaran. At muli, thank you for your support. Thank you for your objectivity. Thank you for your honest, faithful, and accurate reporting. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, Pam. Sa kaalaman po ng ating mga live viewers ngayon, tayo po ay live sa PTV4, sa RTVM, sa mga social media pages po ng PCOO, sa Cable TV 36, sa ating mga local media partners, at sa lahat po ng DepEd regional Facebook pages. So magandang umaga rin po sa mga kakatune in lang at kaka-view lang po ng ating live stream. So we're going to start the press conference proper now po. Ang una pong magtatanong, ma'am, I see AC Nichols ng CNN Philippines. AC, go ahead please.
Good morning, everyone. So my question is going to be about the production and distribution of modules. Baka po pwedeng mag-request
Yung sa lumabas yung initial survey namin, 'di ba, nung nag-determine kami ng opening ng classes, yung date ng pag-determine as early as April. Parang halos equal ang preference ng parents, mga learners at saka mga staff for printed or modular materials vis-a-vis online. Tapos yung pag-umpisa ng enrollment period, lumalabas din na tinatanong natin yung mga bata kung may cellphone sila, mga teachers, etc. Lalo na yung mga bata ang tinatanong natin. Ang preference din nila ay lumalabas even in NCR na may gusto talaga ng mga printed modules. So ngayon, dahil sinabi ko na nga kanina, ang pagbabago ng curriculum hindi lamang na babaguhin natin sa sinasabing new normal para lamang sa senior high school. Yung buong curriculum ang binago natin kasi nakita natin na medyo overcrowded. More than 15,000 learning competencies kailangan ng isang bata na ma-master bago siya makagraduate ng senior high school. So, makabuo ng basic education. So, ito ay reduce ito. Ito yung tinatawag nilang most essential learning competencies. So, ito ngayon ang basis ng bagong curriculum. Ngayon, sa paghanda ng... yes. Yung paghanda nitong
Ma'am, what I'm asking is, nasa na tayo sa printing ng mga modules sa mga regional offices? Because
yes.
Yung mga teachers na nagsasabi na wala pa sa kanila yung mga modules. So they are complaining and they are worried. They're saying
actually, binigyan na natin ng authority ang mga regional offices na sila ang mag-print. Kung mahirapan silang mag-print, tutulungan sila ng sa national. Kasi ang initial decision natin at the level of the regional directors, sila ang magpo-produce ng mga materials na yan. Tumutulong ang teachers, tumutulong ang mga superintendents, lahat nagtutulungan. So they are now in the process of printing. Makita ninyo halimbawa sa Region 4A, ang daming nakahanda na at saka ready for distribution na. So combination yan, both with the guidance, with the help and the support of the central office, na download na yung budgets para niyan. At saka the other approach is sila mismo, binigyan namin sila ng authority na sila ang mag-produce itong mga materials na ito at the regional level and eventually at the school level. Bear in mind that we still have how many days to go. At saka alam naman ng mga teachers na nagmamanman ng developments kung ano itong mga most essential learning competencies. Dahil yung nag-a-attend ng mga webinars, yung nag-keep track kung anong nangyayari. Nandito naman si Yusek Dads na ating in charge sa ating curriculum. Nandito naman si Yusek Nepo na kabisado niya itong nangyayari tungkol sa ating mga modules. So, hindi naman natin masasabi na absolutely bagong-bago yung mga modules natin. Reduce natin ang number ng learning competencies. So pwede yung iba nga gagamitin pa nila ang pagbabasihan nila yung mga textbooks dahil yung mga learning competencies na na-retain natin nasa textbooks naman. So nasa teacher yan. For how many months ang teachers natin ngayon naghahanda sila. Oo. Kung at natututo din sila na hindi lamang hihintayin kung anong sasabihin ng central office, anong sasabihin ng regional director. Maraming mga teachers, maraming mga regions, dahil kami 3 to 4 times a week nagmi-meet kami with the regional directors. So we have an idea of the creativeness and the initiatives that are going on that are taking place at the regional level. Binabago na natin yung maghihintay kung anong sasabihin, anong manggagaling sa central office. Dahil yung sinabi ko na nga, yung learning competences, ang iba na retain natin, nandyan naman sa ating mga textbooks. So, magandang ito sa challenges sa ating mga teachers na hindi lamang sila maghihintay kung kailan maglalanding yung mga libro. Dahil right now, piniprint naman yon at yan ay pinapaliwanag. Siguro nandito ba si Yusek Dads para lalong mapaliwanag niya sa ating mga teachers na naghihintay ng mga modular subjects. Kasi yung 15,000 learning competencies, this is reduced to 4,000. So ito yung nagiging subject ngayon ng bagong curriculum. But it's not as if these are totally, completely changed or new or strange to the teacher because they're familiar with 15,000, so they're familiar with 4,000 also. And they're taking their own ito yung prinsipyo natin. Bawat rehiyon kanya-kanyang sila diskarte depende on what is the situation. May mga lugar talaga na types nila ang online. May mga lugar na types nila na mas umuubra ang radyo. So, hindi naman pwede na lahat manggagaling sa central office. Okay.
Okay.
For Casey, I think there's a rejoinder from Yusek Dads. Sir?
Good morning. Good morning, Ma'am Liling. Good morning po sa mga kasama natin sa media na nandito ngayon. Mga kasama ko. Kasali sa
ano lang po yung audio, pakilakasan lang po ng konti.
Good morning po.
Ayun.
Okay na. Yung pong paghahanda, reproduction ay ng ating mga self-learning modules ay talagang ginagawa sa regional offices, division office at sa mga paaralan. So iba-iba po ang estratehiya ng ating mga field units at nagbaba naman po ng pondo ang DepEd. Yung pong issue na ang mga SLM sa hindi pa nakikita ng mga kasama nating guro ay pwedeng totoo, pero po sa ngayon po ina-upload mismo ng ICTS natin sa DepEd Commons para sa access po ng lahat ng kasama nating guro at mga principal yung mga self-learning modules para sa unang linggo ng ating pasukan. At ongoing po ang uploading, so makikita na po nila ang mga ito. Yung pong mismong nire-reproduce ay sabi nga po natin, nasa level po ito ng division offices, mga paaralan at mga regions, at ang report po sa amin sa huling pagpupulong namin ay mayroon din po kasi kaming assessment strategy, nagre-report sila, may mga category, mas marami po ang mga regions na nagsasabi ahead sila sa kanilang target schedules, yung progressing, although may mga ilan-ilan din pong area na nagre-report sa atin na medyo kailangang mag-double time.
At saka if I may rejoin the conversation, I get feedback also from parents, even parents from abroad, na sinasabi nila, kasi may mga schools ngayon na private schools na on their own are already preparing, no? Or practically nagkaklase-klase na yung mga bata, lalo na sa preschool level at saka sa lower grades. Nagsasabi ang mga parents, ina-access nila ang DepEd Commons. Kung ma-access ng isang parent ang DepEd Commons, I'm very sure the teachers who I see have their own facilities and so on can easily access at saka familiar sila sa learning competencies. Kasi ang ginawa natin, rini-reduce natin ito. It's not completely, totally strange and different na kailangan manggagaling sa central office. Pero for those who have difficulty, like one region, nagsabi, nahihirapan sila sa pag-reproduce, etc. Tinutulungan sila ng central office pag-identify ng mga suppliers, etc. etc. So, gusto lang namin i-clarify niyan. May mga challenges, pero hindi insurmountable challenge yan. Kasi sa pag-aaral pa lang nila ng edukasyon, alam nila kung ano yung mga general learning competencies na yan. Ang ginawa ng education ay to narrow this down to the most essential. At siyempre, kabisado nila ang most essential. At kabisado nila ang mga libro. Sa isang region halimbawa na siguro sabihin natin na dahil it's composed largely of islands and it is in the south, behind sila. Pero ginagamit nila yung mga portions ng mga textbooks na which are all about as I said, the most essential learning competencies. It's not absolutely new. It is not a new invention. Gusto ko lang yung i-emphasize. Alam yan ng mga teachers. And our teachers naman, they are very well trained. They have been trained since undergraduate. They have been trained for years and years. So alam nila kung ano yung mga learning competencies na yan. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, for my second question, I just wanted to get reaction. The Teachers Dignity Coalition is saying that they're formally lobbying for postponement of August 24 class opening. And they went to Congress na, ma'am. Ang linapitan nila is yung mga head ng basic education committees because they say that they're being ignored by the DepEd. Can we get a reaction?
Siguro we should get when you survey and you have more than 800,000 respondents, probably we are not ignoring. Dalawang beses yan ginawa. At saka napaka-active nitong mga organisasyon na ito. Makikita mo naman yung kaagad yung reaction nila. Atsing ang Department of Education, may reaction kaagad. So alam naman namin kung ano ang mga reaction nila. Siguro dapat magsasagot si Yusek Revsi sa observation na yan na ini-ignore. Paano na yan? Palaging konsulta ang ginagawa namin. Dahil nga, ito ay yung sinasabing we are moving towards a new normal. But what we are doing is not absolutely new. Blended learning is as old as I am. As a strategy in learning modalities. 1940s pa yan. What we are doing is to adapt it to the current requirements. And we issue, hindi lamang na ini-ignore, no. We call press conferences. We issue memoranda. We issue circulars. We answer letters. So more or less, we know what the reactions are. Oo. At saka Congress is a different branch of government, and so they also have their duty to find out what is happening, and there is nothing wrong with going to Congress or going to the Senate because it's part of our democratic practices. But we just like to emphasize that social media is let us say, faster than lightning. So alam namin naman kaagad ko anong reaction. Alam naman namin exactly the mura and the all those very interesting and colorful language that is resorted to by those who teach good manners and right conduct. So siguro si
Secretary, if I may add also.
Yes, sir.
Actually, ako ngayon ay nasa isang elementary school secretary dito sa isang barangay sa Batangas City, ang Dumuklay Elementary School. At kahapon ay nakausap ko yung kanilang punong guro, si Miss Marifi Gualberto, at kinumusta ko yung paghahanda nila Yung sinasabi natin about the modules, for example, at saka kahandaan ng mga paaralan, meron tayong report sa mga divisions natin na mayroong 80% to 100% ang stage of SLM printing for the first quarter. Merong catching up of 25 to 49. Meron tayong progressing 50 to 79% at merong lagging behind as mentioned by the Secretary. But at the same time, as mentioned by Yusek Nads, ay merong mga division-led printing, but all our schools were already at the beginning given the authority to utilize us also their MOOE for the production of the modules. And the modules is a combination of the central office quality assured modules. I think the agreement in the Learning Resource and Platforms Committee is for within this week, yung first 2 weeks will be uploaded already. And locally produced modules to supplement kung may delays in the centrally produced a self-learning higher than their enrollment last year of 460. Ang average class nila dito ay from less than 20 mga from 26 to the biggest class they have is for a grade 5 na mayroong 42 and 44, but all the rest are between 26 to, as I mentioned, 44. At na-divide na nila itong mga klase itong mga classes na ito to the 15 teachers in this elementary school. They have already done their orientation of parents. They have already scheduled the pick-up of learning resources by sitio come opening of classes on the 24th. And so these are teachers, and all the teachers of the 15 teachers are here doing their preparations. And in other words, these are happening in many places. And of course, you have groups like AC and TDC. If you go by their history, they will always frame themselves against the Department of Education. But that does not mean that they reflect what is happening on the ground. And that would have been shown also with the dito sa ating sayang at nagkaroon tayo ng technical problem on the dry runs, because these are teachers that are working very hard on the ground for the readiness for the school opening. And this school which I am in has stated that they are ready for school opening. So these are real stories on the ground, but these are things that you will not ever hear from groups like TDC and the Alliance of Concerned Teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Final question from me. Are there still plans to meet with the president, particularly about calls to postpone the opening on August 24? Or at this point po, wala nang saysay pa na pag-usapan dahil tuloy na
Saka, right from the beginning, sinasabi naman talaga namin na stretch na natin yung pinaka last day na allowed by law. And the president is aware of this. We had a briefing with him before he went to Davao. He's now in Davao. And when he comes back, we'll be briefing him on what is happening, etc., etc. Pero palagay ko, yung August 24 has always been, we have never retreated, we have never changed that date, because it is blended learning. It can be done with or without face-to-face. Yung ibang mga countries, sa halimbawa Singapore, they have 1 or 2 days of face-to-face classes in other countries. But now, sa atin sa Pilipinas, hindi pwede. Kasi yun nga, hinihintay pa natin na talagang assured tayo ng safety ng ating learners. At saka kami naman, we agree with that kind of position. So, yung issue na yan, which is always being brought up, palagay namin, while the dialogue is going on sa social media, but as far as we are concerned, talagang August 24 na talaga ang target date. That is why we are launching it now on August 10 para i-emphasize natin uli. And sa higher education, they're already starting enrollment and so on and so forth because they don't feel covered by the law on basic education. Last day of August ang last day of enrollment. So that is, you go to the provinces, the teachers, the regional directors, the superintendents are preparing for August 24. You have 22.9 million learners already enrolled and who are aware that classes will begin on August 24. Pero walang face-to-face. And that is what we keep on saying at this time, and even as early as April. Yun nga sa isang group ng international institutions, tinanong nga ako, sabi ko nga ako, if I were asked last April, I was for June because I really did not want any interruption. And then we saw ang curriculum natin were suggesting August 24. Others were suggesting June. Some parents talaga were suggesting June. Kaya ang sabi nga namin na kung anong gusto ng parents, anong gusto ng children, and what is also legally permissible, ito na yung pinaka-last na day. Dahil ang August 28 naman ay weekend. And we'll spend the first week orienting the children on the new way of learning and transmitting knowledge, etc., etc. And also the teachers, we are putting up some regions on their own initiative. They have put up parents' academies. Makati is doing that. Region 1 is doing it. Caraga is doing it. Valenzuela, even before COVID, mayroon na silang mga programs for parents to help their children. So we are allowing talaga maximum flexibility, creativity, and as I said, relying on past knowledge, past experience of what really works, and from this create something new, which we describe as new normal. But I tell you, ang blended ay 1940s pa yan. Ang radyo, 19 forgotten pa yun. 2 world wars na ay radyo ang means ng communication. And we have seen that it works very well. Basta mayroong binabantayan at minomonitor ng gusto. Hindi naman kaysa we were just sitting in our offices. Since April, we have been working at it. Una namin ginawa ang aming learning continuity program. Then nakita natin na na crowded yung curriculum, and parents were telling us our children are asked to master so many competences. So reduce yan. And as I was saying kanina, it's not as if the teachers are not familiar with the 15,000 competences. Kasi they have been dealing with it, reduce natin. So alam nila it's not really new. Maybe the materials, the outlook, the setting is new, but the principles are there, and that is what they were taught when they were learning how to teach during their time. So ito lahat. And as to the consultation, ang pagko-consult ng process namin is we consult hindi lamang yung most active in social media, pero yung those who really want to have a say. So I hear also from mothers, I hear also from the children, and they send letters na gusto na nilang mag-go to school. Mayroong iba, sabi nila, may isang bata, sabi, I prefer to be taught by a teacher and not necessarily by my mother. So mayroon namang teacher na nagsusupervise niyan, nagmo-monitor. So yun ang trabaho ng mga teachers. But that is what I can say. But then Revsi perhaps also can say some more because ang office niya is, deals with various feedback and organizations, etc. Revsi.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Last night, we had a meeting with the in preparation for the August 24 school opening. And the reports coming from the regions, they are ready for the August 24 school opening. And in fact, in Region 12, merong sa Region 12, ang mga local government units ay merong resolution that they are ready for the August 24 school opening. And sabi nila, delay lang school opening sa September or October ay baka mag-relax sila by September or October ay ginawang December ang school opening, lalong hindi sila ready na dahil meron na rin silang mga programs and projects kung saan magiging preoccupied na sila. And as a rejoinder to Yusek has said, yung ating mga modules ay ongoing po yung production according to the regional directors. Most of them ay nasa 60 to 8 complete for the first quarter, and by August 24 ay ma-distribute po mga schools. And yung mga consultations sa hanay ng mga superintendents and also our district supervisors ay regular po ito. Kaya ang basis namin for the August 24 ay based on the consultations coming from our field officials, from district supervisors, school division superintendents, and the regional directors. So yan po ma'am yung balita sa field coming from our schools division superintendents and also coming from our regional directors.
At saka, I'm sorry na I have to rejoin the conversation. Ang basehan din natin ay ang SONA, speech of the President, endorsed blended learning. Sinabi pa nga lahat ng mga methodologies ng blended learning. At walang sinabi ang presidente na babaguhin ang date ng opening dahil alam niya, sinabi pa nga niya, alam niya ang face-to-face is 2021. Kasi alam mo, mag-delay tayo ng mag-delay, by next year, it will be 1 year before the elections. The adults will be very engrossed with election issues. In the meantime, we also have to attend to the children, which is the mandate and the responsibility, not only of DepEd, but of entire Philippine society. We're being engrossed in 2021 with many other issues in addition to COVID and the health and the economy matters now, which will really take up all of our time. So we cannot wait until all of these are settled before we open schools, because in the meantime, all over the world, schools are already opening. And madidihado yung mga anak natin, yung ating mga apo. Maiiwanan sila at saka mismo sa loob ng sa bansa natin, maiiwanan din. Kasi hindi naman makapag-aral ng engineer o doktor o nurse ang isang bata kung hindi magtapos muna ng basic education. Kung masastuck tayo sa basic education, then ganun ka, delay naman ang supply natin ng professionals na kailangan natin dito sa ating bansa. Hindi lamang sa mundo, kundi sa ating bansa. Kaya mahalaga na tingnan yung buong picture about education. At tanungin natin, yung sinasabi ko nga, ang mga bata, kung sila ang tatanungin, gusto nila mag-aral talaga. Let us not wait na dadating ang panahon na wala na silang interest mag-aral. So ano ang competitiveness nila sa trabaho, sa pag-go to higher education, yung gusto magiging doktor, yung magiging engineer, hindi sila makaproceed dahil they will get stuck in basic education. So these are, I believe, very serious consideration. Think of the children. Sila naman talaga ang focus ng attention natin. And right now, may mga lumalabas na sa mga iba't ibang mga pag-aaral na kung tatagal tayo at tatagal, magkakaroon talaga tayo ng mga challenges regarding children. Thank you. Because our children will be semi-adults at that time, tapos nasa basic education pa rin sila. Okay.
Alright, maraming salamat, ma'am.
Shut up mo na ako, June.
Ayun.
Nag-overshoot na ako ng aking quota.
We would like to acknowledge po, ma'am, yung ating mga media partners before we proceed with the press conference because ang dami pong naka-live sa atin ngayon sa buong bansa. Yung office po ni Senator Pia Cayetano, naka-live po tayo doon sa Facebook page niya. Facebook page din po ni Senator Win Gatchalian. We're also live there. PIA, Broadcasting System, Smart Telecom, Tirad Pass, Radio and Television Broadcasting Network, Pampanga, TV44, Radio Veritas, Romblon, Cable, Oriental Mindoro Provincial Government, DZGN Spirit FM po sa Sorsogon, at yung ating Kabankalan Community Antenna Television Incorporated, Radyo Pilipinas Cebu, pati po sa office, sa Facebook page ni Congresswoman Lauren Legarda. We're also live there. My TV Cebu, PIA Region 9, Camiguin Island Cable TV Corporation, Strong Radio Cagayan de Oro, DXSA 105.5 Radyo Natin FM, PIA Region 11, MW EWS Radio K37 TV Digos, Kakampi Multimedia Agency, Brigada FM, DXEJ 90.9, Yes FM, Tandag Radyo Birada, DXIM 93.5 Hope Radio, PTV Cordillera, at DZRK Radyo Pilipinas Tabuk sa Kalinga po. So maraming salamat po sa ating mga media partners at sa mga libo-libong nakasubaybay sa ating ngayon. We go back po sa ating press conference. Ang susunod na magtatanong ay si Mr. John Arcilia ng The Manila Times. John?
Manila Times.
Hello po, good morning po. Ask ko lang po kung may figures tayo on how many teaching and non-teaching personnel natin yung infected with COVID po. And what are the protocols po kapag may mga nare-report tayo na. Thank you po.
Ma'am, I would like to refer the question kay Yusek Nepo. Sir?
Can I respond to that? Yung aming, we are still continuing and we, as part of our required health standards, yung ating daily situation report is still continuing, but it is in other words, it is a cumulative number. So we will check your question and we will get back to you kung ilan yung active cases natin at saka yung ilan yung mga suspected cases that are being monitored. But you are correct that there is a protocol that we have, our COVID-19 task force continued from the time it was constituted in February of this year. It has a mechanism all the way to the local levels through our DRRM teams that are monitoring this. In fact, yung mga monitoring and reporting from the DOH, we even supplement that with our own checking. Saan ba nila nakuha yung mga infection na ito? And this has happened even during the vacation period. Of course, we need to be doubly exercise utmost care come August 24 because as you have seen in the dry runs, it will still require our teachers, depending on the quarantine situation or classification of an area, whether we are on skeleton force such as in the MECQ areas, or what we adopted in DepEd, even if we can go higher than that, is at any one time our personnel force, whether teachers or non-teaching personnel at all levels, will not go higher than 50% of the workforce at any one time. There is a mechanism within those guidelines aside from the usual social distancing, hand and respiratory hygiene, monitoring of symptoms, also a testing protocol based on symptoms as well as possible exposures and contact tracing. And this has to be done in coordination with the local government units as well as the local health officials. So we can get back to you on the numbers. We can have a probably a specialized press briefing on that. But we need to get the data because there is the numbers that are being shown are cumulative data, and we need to check on what is the still active data from that report. So we commit to such a briefing on that COVID situation within the DepEd family. Thank you.
Thank you po, sir. Okay na po.
Thank you so much, sir. John, do you have other questions?
Okay na, sir. Thank you po.
Alright, maraming salamat sa kasamahan natin sa Manila Times, si John Arcilla. Ang susunod na magtatanong po ay si Bombo Jevlin Endaya ng Bombo Radio Coronadal. Bombo Jevlin? Bombo Jevlin? Parang may signal problems po. So, na po sa susunod na magtatanong yung kasamahan na Hernando. Ina? Go.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
First question ko is, ano po yung impact ng MECQ sa school opening preparations, especially dun sa mga regions that have the highest number of enrollees? Because some teachers are preparing right now at hindi sila nakakalabas. So, ano po yung impact ng MECQ sa school opening preparations?
Siguro, kasi sabi ko na hindi na ako magsasalita, nag-overshoot na ako ng aking quota. My self-imposed quota. Siguro si Yusek Dads or Yusek Nepo ang makasagot niyan. But of course, I know the answer also.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think Yusek Nepo. Sir, go ahead po.
Yes, in fact, si Secretary Briones, after the MECQ, has had a couple of meetings already with all our regional directors and EXECOM members with respect to the implication of the MECQ. And as mentioned by Ina, itong MECQ has had an impact on the logistics and of preparation. As you have seen in the dry runs that we've had, there is the aspect, sometimes it is a school-based reproduction, or division-based reproduction of the learning resources, and then they are also being consolidated, and then there will also be a pickup, and based on the dry run, for example, in the Botas, the teachers, no, the parents themselves will have to go to the schools, or it will be delivered to the households. And in conditions of MECQ, we know that it will be much harder. But as mentioned by the secretary earlier, there can be a relaxation in the opening as far as what will be delivered in the let's say first week, to compensate for whatever uh, uh, whatever you can say dislocation of the physical and logistical activity without having to defer the opening of classes. And I think it is those adjustments. This is similar also in instances where during the course of a school year, while the school has opened, may mga ibang areas talaga that have, halimbawa, may iba pang calamities that they have to respond to. So, I think that that is a something that can be made, certain adjustments or leeway with respect to yung planned delivery. For example, yung modular side, ay syempre that could be limited, especially kung mag-extend. We don't know, we don't even know kung matapos na yung MECQ, and then they can proceed to the activity. But yes, there were, as reported to the secretary during the meeting that she called, may implications uh, in these areas, and so adjustments have to be made with respect to the first week without having to defer the opening of classes.
Thank you, sir. My next,
Ina, go ahead. Yeah.
yes, my second question is about the feedback on the blended learning dry runs, because we're supposed to see it today, but we didn't. So, can we cite specific challenges that were reported by the schools who did the dry run in terms of the blended learning approach? For instance, yung sa modules, sa ODL, and the TV, RBI, may specific challenges po ba silang na-report?
Ma'am, the secretary, if we may report, because on the side, the Region 12 was trying to address the glitch, so we might still be able to proceed based on the update from USEC Jess, who is in coordination with Region 12. So we might still see the dry runs, parang na-invert lang yung ating process, and then probably we can respond to your question after we have seen the dry runs as they will be shown. So there's a possibility, Secretary, if you will allow, for us to proceed with yung na-delay natin na take-offs. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, of course. Kasi those who see the videos and the reports and the dry run will see that it works. Of course, there are challenges. Like for example, in some places like the last mile schools, you need more transistor radios because you need a transistor radio for the teacher, for the school, and for the family which is receiving the messages, especially if there are different programs and different children. Then ganun din sa TV and other modalities. What came as I said now, for me personally as a surprise is that we are leaning more to modules because of the complications of technology, even in NCR. and this has very serious cost implications. Transistor radios also have very serious cost implications because we have to maintain standards like hindi pwede yung kailangan ng connectivity na mga radyo, kailangan solar powered, kailangan waterproof, kailangan ganitong size, kailangan ganyan for this, and and then we also need additional gadgets, pero we are proceeding as these things come. Kasi if you wait until we feel na ready na tayo, there will be other challenges na naman. Because challenges come every day and you deal with challenges as we anticipate them. So I really don't mind. This is the purpose naman talaga to sabi nga na bakit Nabotas is highly urbanized, etc. But if you see an island or if you see medium-sized urban place, or if you see a municipality, then you can see that this blended learning is being applied in many different kinds of situations. Thank you. Okay lang.
Sir Julius will be my last question.
Maraming salamat, ma'am. So before we shift po dun sa ating live feed, I think we can allow one more question, Ina, before we come back to the President. Ina, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Even without the in-person classes this year, ano po yung status ng basic education resources yung target natin for this year or yung mga expectations natin for this school year?
Yusik Ann would be in the best position to answer, although ako, si Yusik Ann, Yusik Jess have been visiting more frequently this season the Department of Budget and Management, dialogues with the Secretary of Finance, never enough for your wants or your desires. That's a basic law and that has not been repealed. Yusik Ann.
Yusik Ann, ma'am?
Yes. I'm sorry. Sorry, Director June. Can the question be repeated? I apologize sa nagkaroon ng sa akin, technical glitch din.
Ina, go ahead.
Isaac Ann, I was asking po yung status of basic education resources, like how many classrooms have we completed, yung teachers na-meet natin yung required number that we're supposed to hire this year, and other resources.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, apologies for not getting the question as soon as possible. In terms of the finances, yung financial resources ng DepEd was readjusted, reprogrammed, and aligned to the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan. It took some time, Ina, we are recognizing that kasi nga ang 2020 budget natin was designed using the face-to-face approach. And these learning modalities, yung blended na ginagawa natin, will require different financing resources. And we thank the DBM, the Department of Budget and Management, because they gave us all the accommodation that we needed. But the problem, of course, is if we want an ideal situation, the financial resources will be limited. So what we did is to really prioritize what we need. And the Secretary and the Department has decided to really prioritize the needs of our learners. Ito yung mga learning resources na kanina pinag-uusapan natin at pinaghahandaan. Yung mga self-learning modules, yung mga kailangan na radyo facilities, yung training ng mga teachers, they've been undergoing their capacity building and training program because this is a new approach for most of the teachers. At ginawa po rin po natin pati yung kanilang minimum health standard o yung paghanda ng ating mga eskwelahan kahit wala po itong mga bata. Ay syempre ang mga guro ay pupunta dito para magtrabaho at para makipag-engage sa ating mga learners. So this has been prepared and we are again observing, monitoring the financial flow. As of now, yung school MOE natin was also changed, approved by the Secretary na gamitin para sa COVID-19 response at yung pag-reproduce